Hello, and welcome to the secrets to sustainable fat loss. Okay, first of all, I know that everybody nowadays has the attention span of a gnat. And so I'm not going to give you some 10-minute video that's going to give you absolutely fuck all information that you're not even going to use. I want this to be so valuable to you, and therefore I have jam-packed as much information in here as possible. If you're short of time, like most of us busy women are, bottom right hand corner, you can actually speed me up on a times 2. Okay, so do that and we can get through as much as possible today. Second of all, I've actually given you a workbook. We're not going to go through this step by step today, but I would love for you to, when you have time, pause this, reflect, write in your workbook, journal, and get the most out of this training, okay? If you don't know who I am, by the way, my name is Siobhan Porter, and I am the founder of Envision Coaching. And why do I know about sustainable fat loss? Because I lost 23 kg multiple times, really unhealthily, had a terrible time with food and my weight and my body and my mindset and lots of things. And then I actually managed to keep the 23 kg off using sustainable methods after years and years and years of education. It's because of that I've helped 400 plus women do exactly the same. So I know a thing or two about forever fat loss. And what I do know to be true is you right now, my love, have so much information. You have information coming out your fucking ears. You have probably a million coaches and a million experts messaging you on Instagram or sending you ads, you know what I mean, on Instagram. And you have YouTube and you have TikTok and you have ChatGPT. Like you literally have AI where you could go on and go, I want to lose 10 kg. How do I do that this year? And it will literally like spit out exactly how to do it. It will give you a tailored strategy, right? But that isn't enough. The information is not enough. You know you need to eat less, move more. You know what healthy food is. So why does piecing all of it together feel so goddamn difficult? Like, why can we not piece the pieces of the puzzle together? Why have you still not achieved forever fat loss? This isn't a dig, by the way. I'm coming on to the reason. I have no doubt in my mind that you are somebody that has the will, the want, and the drive, the determination to do this. And you've probably tried to lose body fat over and over and over and over again. You might have been very successful. You might have lost a lot of weight or a little bit of weight. But the problem isn't the losing of the weight, it's the keeping it off long term, right? I know you're not lazy. I know you're not lacking discipline. And I know that you're probably someone that has achieved in so many other areas of your life. Work, career, business, travel, children, home, whatever it is. I know you've achieved a shit ton. And so why is it that you're able to show up in all those areas? You're relied on, you lead, people depend on you. But when it comes to your body, it's not reflecting that same energy. It's not reflecting that same standard. The math ain't mathin', right? So I know that you don't have a fat loss problem. But what I do know is you have an FF problem. It always goes to the rude word in my mind, so I say it so much. The FF problem is the failure fatigue. You have a failure fatigue problem. This failure fatigue is a term that I coined after trying and failing so many fucking times myself and seeing so many women try and fail at forever fat loss, okay? Riddle me this. When you start a new diet, a new regime, a new whatever you want to call it, do you think, oh my God, I'm so excited to go into this, like I can't wait for my diet? Or do you think, oh, I think I'm going to fail again? Like I really hope I'm not going to fail at this. Or are you already dreading the methods that you used before? Like, oh, here we go again. I'm going to have to do X, Y, Z. This is failure fatigue. Failure fatigue is your brain creating a neuro link that basically says, fat loss, yeah, we ain't good at that. No, I've seen you try and do fat loss before. You're not good at it. And so every single time you start a new fat loss phase or whatever you want to call it, your brain's like, you're not going to make it past Friday. Or it's like, okay, this is all well and good, but do you remember like what's going to happen when you go on holiday? You're going to regain all of the weight. Do you know what I mean? Like all of these negative connotations, that's the self-sabotage that is a byproduct of failure fatigue, and it's not your fault. The biggest mistake that I see women make is bringing past failures into their new diet, let's call it. So the self-sabotage, the methods that don't serve them, the self-criticism, the self-limiting beliefs, all of those things from the previous attempts, they bring in subconsciously to the new attempts, right? You're probably thinking, I thought she was going to talk about calories. I'm getting there. So why have there been so many past failures for you? For me, being what I call an expert in forever fat loss, I know that you're missing two things: strategy and identity. And this is the work that I do inside of my world. I don't just go, here's your meal plan, here's your workout. I look at what is the strategy that you need as an individual, and how do we shift your identity to become the woman who is capable of being in shape all year fucking round, right? When I say identity, a lot of women are like, what's wrong with my identity? It's like, you're a boss bitch. I know you're a boss bitch, but we need to bring your body to that boss bitch level, right? So strategy and identity. Let's talk strategy first. I bet that some, if not all of these things ring true to you. The methods that you've used before are over restrictive. We need some restriction, obviously, but you can't help but over restrict. Eating super clean, cutting foods out of your diet, maybe overtraining or overdoing it, or doing crazy things that you're not actually enjoying, like, oh, I'm just going to take up running, even though you fucking hate running. All of these things are too extreme, maybe because you don't actually trust yourself to have more of a flexible approach, or you don't know how to. And so you always run back to these extreme methods, and you are constantly swinging between the restriction, the extreme, the being super on it, and then the falling completely off track. Whether it's a weekend, whether it's a birthday, a holiday, a work event, whatever it is, you don't know how to navigate that because you can't be extreme there. So you're swinging between the two, right? So sometimes, I know this is really crazy, but some women that are high performers, are leading, are perfectionists, do a very good job elsewhere. When it comes to dieting and fat loss, they kind of like the extreme, because they're like, oh, do you know how good I was today? That used to be me. Do you know how good I was? Ask me what I've eaten today. Do you know what I mean? We're like wearing it like a big fucking badge. Like, I've been so good. And we love telling people about it as well, like telling our partners and stuff. But we think that we're creating all this control and discipline and willpower. But actually, it's not control if the only time it exists is in the extreme. Right? It's not control, because eventually it's going to unravel. And zero women actually make lasting progress swinging between the two, right? Here's what you need to know about your method, is if that is a method that you are using. I'm going to run through this quickly. Right. Basic level, 7 days a week. This is you Monday to Friday. This is you Saturday to Sunday. You think that you're being really good, eating 1,200, 1,500 calories, but you have no visibility on what's going on the weekend. I'm just using a weekend, by the way. This could actually be holidays, it could be birthdays, it could be whatever, but this is a generalized kind of overview of what your calorie consumption is looking like. And it means that we're underdoing it and then overdoing it in the long term. This is a zoomed out month on month. Again, it might not be a 5-2 split, but this is what it looks like every month. And then what happens is we actually have like 20 good days, 10 extreme days. And swinging between the two means that we have like 46% of our days being strict, and that's good fucking going. Let's be honest. Sometimes we've got weeks and weeks where we're just totally derailed. And then we've got 25%, which are special events, and then 29%, which are just like the extreme days, right? And so what that means is we're never actually making consistent progress. And that's why we end up either finishing the year at exactly the same as we started, or that weight has crept on over time. And this is what I call the swing in action. So restrict, binge, regain, repeat. And over time, we accumulate weight, right? Fat. Why do I know this? Because I did it myself for years, and I've seen it from my clients over and over again. This is Sarah, gorgeous girl, done incredibly well with us, high-performing, career-driven women, mum of two. And this was Sarah's weight chart before she joined Envision. She was determined to make change. So lost weight, regained. Lost weight, regained, lost weight, regained, lost weight, regained. And all of those lose weight, the extremes versus the fuck it's, That meant that over a long period of time, she just gained weight, right? This is where she joined Envision. Boom. I think in fact, it's on the next slide. She is now 20 kg down, 3 stone 2 pounds, feeling more confident than ever, just turned 40, said she felt just as good as she did turning 30. She feels fucking incredible. And by the way, I won't go into every single win she's had. We're just looking at her body and her scale weight right now. But the confidence, she's had a promotion to the highest level possible. She can run after her children. Her relationships are better, etc., etc. So this is what I want to talk about when it comes to the reality check of where you are. In your exercise book, I want you to spot the swing, right? I want you to think about how many days you're strict versus extreme. And I want you to think about how many days in total you're doing this throughout the year and what that is as a percentage. You can write this down or just have a think about it if you're like driving along or whatever it might be. And then I want you to think about how does that compare to the amount of fucking effort you're putting in? Because the reality is, a lot of women waste time, money, energy, trying so hard, but not actually getting anywhere. And as a result, it's not just the weight gain, it's the mental fatigue, it's the mental well-being, it's fucking up your hormones, it's fucking up your metabolism, etc., etc. How do I know this? Because this is me. Over the years, I actually went from like this to losing weight to gaining weight to losing weight to gaining weight. And now I've sustained this body composition loosely for years and years. If anything, it's just changed by putting on more muscle mass. So how did I go from the woman that was addicted to the extremes to the woman now who navigates nutrition with ease? It's because I actually finally learned how to ditch the extremes and incorporate balance. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a coach that eats as clean as others. Like, I very much take a balanced approach to nutrition, and I'll come on to the balance later, but I believe that food is to be enjoyed, and I love food. I'm a huge foodie. I use it for pleasure in a controlled way, and I will never change that. But now I understand what balance is. Whereas if you asked old Siobhan, she'd be like, literally, fuck you. What do you mean? If I open a pack of biscuits, they're gone, my friend. So I just didn't get it when people were like, just be balanced, you know? And so I just chased extremes all the time. I didn't trust that I could do balance at all. And so I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember these, but like Cambridge diet, I think we all know that, horrendous. Soups and shakes, skinny teas, remember booty or whatever oh my God. Rigid plans, insanity workouts, if anybody remembers them, awful. 6-week shreds. Kayla, I don't mean to slag her off, I'm sure she's doing great things now, but back in the day, her bikini body program where you ate like carrot sticks for a meal, horrendous. I just kept going back to these, right? If I was Siobhan, 23 kg overweight today, so in 2025, 26, I think I would be doing 25 hard, probably would have gone on GLP-1. Not saying I'm totally anti-GLP-1, by the way, but I think that would have been my get out cause. Probably would have had gastric band, probably would have had lipo, probably would be fasting now, to be honest. And my body would be wrecked at 34 years old. Absolutely wrecked. So the truth is, I didn't actually believe I was capable of owning the body I do now. That's the truth. Like, I was fat from age 5. I don't know what your story is. Maybe it's not as deep as mine, but you have to ask yourself the question, do I believe that I can do it? Or do I have in the back of my mind this inherent belief that I'm never actually going to build a body this lean, or whatever your goal is, doesn't need to be this lean. Like, I'll never get to a size 8, or I'll never be X stone, or I'll never not have a belly. Like, are you still hearing those things in your mind? And when you start a diet, do you already have in your mind, yeah, but you won't make it by Friday? Yeah, but wait until your husband brings that home. Are you already hearing these things? Because that is the number one thing holding you back from sustainable fat loss. And that is what will cause you going back to the incorrect strategy like this. Okay, so it's something that you have to make sure that you ask yourselves the questions about. The money truth for me was I kept doing these. I can't even remember how much it was, 30 quid, like 20 quid for the teas, whatever it was, like fuck all money. because I didn't trust myself to invest in what I really needed, because I didn't think that I would actually be able to do it. I thought I would fail. And so it was lots of like cheap crap that would never work, because why would I invest in myself? I didn't trust myself. I didn't believe in myself until I did. And that's when I did my qualifications and spent thousands of pounds getting to where I am now. Anyway, so the real secret to sustainable fat loss is identity. And when I say identity, I know some people won't get it. And that's why I want to say it in like plain layman's terms. Identity talks about the person you become in pursuit of fat loss, or whatever your goal is. The women inside my world are high level leading women. They are lawyers, they are doctors, they're head teachers, they're very intelligent women. I'm not saying you need to be a different person. I'm saying that you will naturally lead differently, lead yourself differently in pursuit of building the body of your dreams and staying in shape all year round. Facts. You will become more resilient, more disciplined, more consistent, more fulfilled, more happy, more confident, more respected. The way people see you will be different. The list goes on, okay? So I want you to take this as your reset moment. I want you to forget every motherfucking diet you've ever done. I want you to forget every app. I want you to forget every trend. I want you to leave it all in the bin. Do not get caught up with, oh, but that did work for me before. It didn't, because you're back at square one. I'm saying it with so much love. I said the Cambridge diet worked for me, so I might as well go back to that. But I kept going back to it like a toxic ex. So don't say that, okay? Take a moment now. In fact, you can pause this when you feel ready, because it needs to be at a time where you're feeling very zen. Shout out to all the new mums out there watching this, never feeling zen. But I want you to take some time to journal this, or say it out loud as an affirmation. This isn't woo-woo shit, right? We're manifesting this, but you don't get to manifest without doing the work. So take a minute to say these cues out loud, or to write them in your journal, okay? So let's get on more back to the strategy. You and your body, knows the difference between a chicken breast and a chocolate croissant. I know what I would prefer personally, but it's not necessarily what I need, you know what I'm saying? So even if MyFitnessPal doesn't, what do I mean by this? Way too often women just hammer my calories. I need to be on 1,500 calories. I need to be on 60, whatever, right? But they're not spending enough time actually looking at the quality of their food. Now, every motherfucker out there right now knows that they need to be eating more protein, right? I think we're sick to death of hearing more protein. But it's not just about that. It's about all of the macronutrients, all of the micronutrients, and then really making sure you know how to prioritize whole foods, not just fitting it into your calories. The biggest mistake that women make is just looking at energy balance and then being super fatigued and falling off their diet very, very quickly. I used to do the same. Ladies, if you are literally going onto MyFitnessPal and working out your calories from there, stop doing that. Please stop doing that, because it is plummeting your calories way too low. And you need to make sure that you're actually using a reputable calculator, which I can help you with if you message me directly. So because I did that, my like one size fits all, calories is the only thing that I need to look at approach, that meant that some days I'd just have an almond croissant for breakfast. I'd have an M&S salad being healthy for lunch. And then if I wanted to meet my friend and have a bottle of wine for dinner, then it fits my calories, right? Obviously, by Friday, I was fucked. And so the same goes for when I thought I would be healthy. So Weetabix for breakfast, healthy, right? Chicken and broccoli for lunch, very healthy. Just what I need, right? Fish, veg for dinner, very healthy. There's so much missing in there, though, that it meant that I could not stop myself binging on chocolate in the evening, right? Because we're not looking at all of the macro and micronutrients, which is so key, okay? Which meant no fat loss was lost long term. And that's why inside my world, we use a formula called the Forever Formula, which I created, 3-step formula for forever fat loss. We look at everything, not just the calorie target. We help you understand how to put food on your plate correctly. We look at proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and fiber. We look at how that has an impact on your satiety, on your hormone regulation, on your energy. We want to make sure that you're building muscle mass long term, because, honey, if you are 30 and above, your muscle mass is depreciating, unfortunately. So we need to make sure that's looked after. And we also need to look at digestion as well, optimal digestion, because healthy girls go regularly. All right. So these are all things that we look at for the clients inside our world. And this is how we get the results that we do. So I'm going to talk to you about a few of these, and I'm not going to go through all of this in the essence of time, but you can literally take a screenshot as you go, refer back to it, put it on your shopping list, and hey presto, you now have a whole shopping list of all your macro and micronutrients. So protein, absolutely freaking key. Keeps you full, keeps you satiated, stabilizes blood sugar levels, etc., etc. But not enough women know how much protein they actually need. You need 1.8 to 2.2 grams of protein per kg in body weight. Take a screenshot of this right now because it's giving you lots of different options as well. Carbohydrates, body's main source of energy. Do not skip carbohydrates. If you do, you'll lose weight very quickly because your water will depreciate in your body, right? That's all that's happening. It will come back and then your weight will go up. So you absolutely need to make sure you're incorporating carbohydrates, especially if you are training. And then these are a list of carbohydrates that you want to make sure that you're including. Please take a screenshot now. And then penultimately, fats. Used to be terrified of fats personally. I mean, they're literally called fats. It sounds terrifying, but really, really important for female health, hormone regulation, actually help slow down digestion as well. So just like protein, helps you absorb key nutrients. So no point having your vitamins and minerals if you're not actually going to be having any fats alongside it. So really, really important. And here is a list of fats that you can eat as well. Please take a screenshot. And then finally, fiber, not talked about enough. This is what is found in things like whole grains, in fruits, in veggies as well. Helps keep you full, helps metabolize calories. Like fiber is literally like the longevity of life. It's absolutely essential. Okay, so I've also put here a list of soluble and insoluble fibers for you and how much you should be aiming for per day, 25 to 30 grams. You would be surprised most people are having under 10. So don't just whack it up to 20 to 30 grams because you'll probably shit yourself. Okay, slowly but surely. And then exercise 3, again, not going to spend loads of time on this, but what I would love you to do is go away, take 3 protein sources, take 3 carb sources, take 3 fat sources, take 3 fiber sources, and start compounding your main meals, okay? Think about some of the foods that you really love, say that's spaghetti bolognese, and then think, how can I actually make that meal more balanced, include it in my diet, and lose body fat this week, okay? Cool. Next. Cut out chocolate completely, and it will be 9 p.m. in Tesco with And it will be 9 p.m. in Tesco at 9 p.m. with a family-sized dairy milk in your basket. Well, that is definitely not written correctly, but you understand what I mean. Don't cut out chocolate because you will be in Tesco at 9 p.m. with a big ass family share bag, whatever the fuck, in your basket. Okay, so we're talking about incorporating foods that we love here. Balance, as I said before. So being good, banning foods, chocolate, bread, wine, etc., cutting food groups out of your diet, sugar, carbs, right, I want you to listen to this. If you're ever taking a method for fat loss, ask yourself, can I do this for 6 months? And if the answer is no, run. You're not going to cut chocolate, bread, wine, whatever out of your diet for 6 months. And so you have to learn how to live your life and lose body fat. You have to learn balance. Otherwise, there's always an end date and you're never going to get the long-term result. And so if we try and do that extreme method, we end up obsessing over food, unable to have just one, not trusting yourself, which leads to the failure fatigue, constantly thinking about food, constantly arguing with yourself about food, etc. Okay. So the reason why I was able to go from the chocolate gremlin to politely declining a chocolate when someone offers it to me and I know it's not aligned with my goals is because I know that restriction always backfires. Always. There's no two ways about it. And I live by the 80-20 rule. If I'm really honest, because I'm quite lean now, when I'm in a fat loss phase, I live by the 90-10 rule. But if you're carrying a lot of body fat now, 80-20 is fine, right? What this means is 80% of your diet, whole foods, minimally processed, nutrient-dense foods. I've given you some examples here. Please take a screenshot. And then 20% because you fucking want to eat it, because you love it, because it's enjoyment. Okay? So that might be the slice of cake, the glass of wine, a bit of chocolate, whatever it is, or going out for a meal with your partner or whatever, an ice cream with the kids, life, right? And I've put an example here. If you're eating 1,800 calories, 1,440 calories of that is the fueling filling, 80%. And 360 calories is just nice to have, right? Just for enjoyment. That's how you'd split it. Cool. Okay. In your journal, you can write down 3 foods that you love, like whatever scares you to eat when you're trying to achieve fat loss. And then you can talk about how am I going to include them in my diet this week in that 80-20 approach. And how does it, just notice, like, how does it actually feel to be like, holy shit, I can eat that and also lose weight? Like, how does it feel liberating? Does it make you actually feel confident and happy? Cool. Final thing, as if I need to tell you this one, ladies. Volume eating is essential because size matters. Okay, Old Siobhan tried to eat as little as possible. Weetabix in the morning, 1 Weetabix. Soup and Rivita for lunch, chicken and broccoli for dinner. That was being good. Horrendous. My inside's probably rotting. And the reality was that because I was eating so little here, I was eating biscuits at work when I worked corporate, I was eating chocolate in the evening, I was binging, I was having spoonfuls of spread and stuff like that. So I wasn't actually being good at all. And I thought it was willpower, discipline. God, why can't I just be good? But it was because I just wasn't eating enough real food and I wasn't going back to the micro and macronutrients, eating enough of that. So my portions were so bloody small that I was not actually volume eating, which is key. So key. And when we talk about volume eating, we're talking about eating as much as possible for as little calories as possible. So how can I pack a shit ton on my plate, but actually it be very low calorie? So I've listed a bunch of foods here that are really, really helpful for volume eating. And think of it like this. You pack your meals really full. Don't be scared to have a big meal, by the way. If you're born in the 90s or before that, we were like conditioned to have like a grain of fucking a pea and then like a piece of chicken. Like that's not a woman's meal. Like, okay, we don't need as much as men, but don't be scared to pack your plate full of the right things, okay? More meals, less snacks. Here's some examples of my food and my clients' food, just to give you an idea of how we volume eat. So this is actually oats, protein powder. You don't have to have protein powder, by the way. Protein yogurt, chia seeds, frozen raspberries, and it was the summer. So I thought, fuck it, nice to have. I'm going to chuck an ice lolly on there. Tuna, lettuce, potatoes, all really high volume. Here we've got spinach and mushrooms and chicken sausages, all really high volume. Popcorn is actually really high volume as well. Best to have a lighter version, obviously, and so are any sort of berries. So yeah, you get the idea. And here I've put the exercise for you. Write down a typical meal you would eat. So that might be, let's do the most basic one, pizza, right? Not high volume. But perhaps you could get like an M&S smaller pizza and have a fucking massive side salad next to it. Now it's a high volume meal. Maybe put some protein on top of the pizza for an extra little protein fix, right? And now I also want you to make sure that you're thinking about how to pack your plate full of what we spoke about with the macro and micronutrients. So pulling it all together. And that is what section 6 is about as well. How do I have a weekly plate full of everything that we've learnt to make sure that I can achieve fat loss long term? Okay, let's round up because I need you to know this. This training is literally just the beginning. If you think you can watch this and lose 30 kg, I love you so much, but you won't be able to. And I think we all fucking know that. We're all intelligent women around here. But it gives you an idea of like, how can I take action immediately? And more importantly than any of the nutrition stuff that I've given you, what do I need to do up here? What do I need to divorce from the extremes, the methods that are no longer serving me? And how do I unlock that identity to actually get to the woman who's in shape all year round? please know that in order to achieve an extraordinary result, you do need the structure, the strategy, the accountability to bring it to life. I would never have been able to get to where I am now without the right support and education and guidance. That's from coaching, that's in business, that's in everything. And once you start to do this and believe in yourself and follow a strategy that you can see is working, your identity will begin to shift because you fucking believe in yourself. Your level of respect goes up for yourself, your standards go higher, everything shifts. And that's the work that we do inside the Forever Formula, okay? This is the framework that's helped 400 plus women achieve absolutely jaw-dropping results while running businesses, while raising families, while leading teams, while traveling the world, while living life to the full, without extremes, without obsession, without over-restriction. Women like this, in their 20s, all the way up to women in their 70s, okay? They are all women that once hid behind baggy clothes, knew that they weren't performing to the highest level at work, didn't feel 100% confident, and now they feel better than ever before. High energy, excelling in their careers, better relationships, feeling like their best self, regardless of whether they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s, etc. Okay? Women that had tried everything but never got the long-term result. Okay, so if you're like, fuck me, this is all kind of coming together for me now. I feel like you're reading my diary, Siobhan. I feel like you're kind of dangling the carrot. Like, I understand what it is that you do, but I need more. Then you can hit the link below if you're watching on YouTube, and you'll be able to see everything that we do inside our one-to-one. All our testimonials, all our transformations, our methods, everything. If you can't see the link, just message me on Instagram, Siobhan_envision, SIOBHAN_envision, ENVISION. Wow, I'm quite impressed that I did that. Okay, you have been amazing. Remember that you are capable of incredible things when you get the right strategy and identity combined. Have the best day. See you later.